One of the industry's most anticipated airline launches has been delayed. There are airline mergers on the cards, and Lufthansa has completed an all-important takeover of an international airline, even if it is a minority one. Why not begin there, where after much deliberation, Lufthansa successfully closed its acquisition of Italian carrier ITA Airways. The deal, valued at €325 million, sees Lufthansa take on a minority stake, for the moment, valued at 41%. It is still therefore pretty substantial and will see Lufthansa take a really important amount of control in this business, and it comes following years of negotiations to make this prospective deal a reality. In 2023, the pair announced the deal as part of Lufthansa's attempts to gain greater control of a European country that at the end of the day it had actually historically struggled in and couldn't simply find ways to cement its position. Moreover, the purchase of the minority stake was considered absolutely necessary for ITA Airways, which had been birthed after Alitalia's collapse and questioned the market surrounding its long-term position in the industry. By seeing Lufthansa take control even partially of ITA Airways, the Italian company now has access to many more markets right around the world, and you'd argue has a little bit more stability, allowing it to develop its fleet without necessarily as much pressure. Like any consolidation effort, even if it is not to be a majority stake, you will see pushback and investigations occur to ensure that there won't be a negative impact on consumers and competitors in the market. While this stake is valued at 41%, Lufthansa has made their intentions pretty clear from the beginning. It wants to increase this to a majority, and they will assess the initial performance of the deal before proceeding, but you can expect work to already be taking place to get this deal over the line. Ultimately, it's one that's labelled as a new phase in both companies' histories. The focus is on creating strategic synergies that will allow the two airlines to grow in a positive manner. Lufthansa Group says the acquisition of ITA will help increase their profits by actually hundreds of millions of euros in the coming months already, and what it does do is add an essential pillar to the group that was not previously present. Consolidation has been a hot topic of conversation right across Europe. You're probably used to hearing about it here on the channel. If it's not related to ITA, it's related to TAP, Air Europa, or someone else. So many of our major players, such as IAG, Air France KLM, Lufthansa Group, and so forth, have been looking to invest, consolidate, and really grow in ever so specific markets. It's a hotly contested area, and consolidation efforts such as these are huge for their knock-on effect. As a result, Lufthansa finds itself in a situation where it has to prepare for the future in the best possible manner, and it is prioritizing investments to remain competitive and agile, focusing in on markets such as Italy, which it has historically struggled in. Over to some bad news. Riyadh Air, an upcoming Saudi Arabian-based airline, has been forced to delay the launch of scheduled passenger services. The delays result from an inability to acquire 787 Dreamliners from Boeing on time, therefore impacting the ability to launch scheduled passenger flights in an adequate manner that they would have envisaged. Previously, Riyadh Air had been targeting a highly anticipated launch around the midway point of this calendar year, which is now, however, expected to be pushed back to Q3 at the earliest. Unfortunately, given the complexities in ongoing supply chains and Boeing's internal struggles, launching in Q3 still cannot be wholly confirmed, and is more so given as a bit of guidance for the company moving forward. It should very much have a subject to change or asterisk next to it. Much of Riyadh Air's challenge in launching scheduled passenger flights is an industry-wide problem affecting many companies rather than just one. Spurred on by the persistent quality issues that have led to increased oversight from the FAA, Boeing's production rates have dropped to an all-time low. These production rates and supply chain complexities that have resulted in parts not arriving on time have impacted the plane makers' ability to produce planes on time and period. Riyadh Air will strongly rely on Boeing aircraft, especially for their long-haul operations. They have 72 of the 787s on order. However, despite this very strong commitment, the slower-than-ever production rates mean acquiring these planes when expected will simply not happen, and the carrier must begin planning for a more challenging launch than what was expected. Spokespeople confirmed to The National, and we even had comments from Tony Douglas, who spoke with The Telegraph, stating that the first jet destined for passenger services is being produced. However, complications exist. Who are Riyadh Air? I speak about them so much, but why do they have so much hype around them? At the end of the day, I'll reiterate, they are one of the most highly anticipated launches we've seen in quite some time. Well, it's because they're an airline based in Saudi Arabia, and if there's one thing we've learnt about the Middle East, it's go big or go home. They're not into starting a modest airline with a couple of aircraft. No, they want to make headlines, order hundreds of passenger planes, and really evolve. They aim to disrupt the industry with a world-class experience on board. As part of the kingdom's Vision 2030 strategy to diversify its economy, the airline launch will be pivotal, bringing more people through the location and, more importantly, to actually visit the region. The business model will blend luxury with efficiency, targeting premium travelers and connecting Asia, Europe, and the Americas through its Riyadh hub. They seek to capitalize on growing tourism, trying to really offer seamless links on domestic and international fronts. The upcoming airline, for instance, has already signed many partnerships with established companies right around the world. On to the final story in today's proceedings, and that sits with Korean Air, who are moving ahead with many mergers as part of broader efforts to consolidate the South Korean aviation industry. Further adjustments are planned after the approval to proceed with a takeover of Asiana Airlines, and as part of a move to reformat how the low-cost divisions are operated, Korean Air is merging Jin Air with two existing brands, Air Seoul and Air Busan, the latter two consolidating into Jin Air, the only brand that will survive. However, despite Korean Air's interest in proceeding with such an endeavour, there has been quite a fair bit of opposition to it, with potential negative ramifications. Have a look at local South Korean reporting and even discussions in forums. The pushback really focuses on the impact that Busan would see, especially the metropolitan city and the government there, discussing their opinions. The shift would see Jin Air utilize Incheon, but Busan would simply not have that connectivity. It isn't uncommon for merger and or consolidation efforts to be met with a little bit of resistance because of the impact they may have on things such as businesses, the government, people, stakeholders, and others. Therefore, this type of effort should be studied in a vigorous manner. As part of these ones, compromises are commonly made, so a deal has to be formatted to please all parties as best as possible, even if this can seem like the most impossible task. Regarding Korean Air's planned consolidation efforts, the public is concerned that it will lose its regional flagship carrier. Moreover, there was a little bit of belief that Air Busan could act independently as its own airline, which would serve its local community rather than being absorbed by Korean Air, and thus placed into Jin Air. The launch of an independent airline, it's seen a little bit of pushback and could be maybe considered more of a dream. There has been discussion points such as moving headquarters, but this really highlights the complexities of creating such a mega company. Remember, we're not just talking about Korean Air and Asiana coming together, we're talking about a strategic reformatting of so many airlines that are under this one group, and Jin Air to really become one of your major low-cost companies, and not have so many offshoots that we have been used to for so long. I'd love to hear your take down below in the comments. Thanks again for your support here on the channel. Please take care, do be safe. I will indeed see you same place, same time tomorrow for your next industry recap.
And we'll fly.